Hey everybody, welcome ladies and gentlemen, welcome everyone to the Benjamin Dixon Show. I am of course your host Benjamin Dixon. We are still in podcast mode, but we are getting ready to make a big return. And when we return, I'm super excited about the show we're building over at content.news. Our set is almost ready, and next week we are rolling out, not next week, September 18th. Will be the first episode of Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon. So I'm super excited about that. That's what most of my day is consumed with, on top of just reporting the news and giving commentary on the news. As you can see over at content.news, they are, they take quite a bit of my time. But they're paying the bills, so I guess that entitles them to quite a bit of my time, right? So that's where I am. If everyone, if you're ever wondering what's going on with Benjamin Dixon, that's what's going on. I'm working full time at content.news, delivering the news and commentary and helping them with the social media and building their site and building all the different elements of a media network that's going to, I honestly believe we're going to rival the Young Turks. I think we're going to be able to bring you all, I'm confident that we're going to be able to bring you an alternative that is multifaceted. There are voices on our team that are close to neoliberal. They're not quite neoliberal, but they're closer to the Hillary Clinton branch. And you know what? You know who I am. You know where I stand. And I don't bite my tongue. So we have it out. We almost had it out today with one of the team members over an issue. And but what I appreciate about it is that we are 100% free to say whatever the hell we want to say. There's like zero input editorially, if that's a word. Zero editorial control that they have over. I have complete editorial control over my content. Every now and then they might catch some grammar things for me. But they hired me based on the fact that they appreciated my voice, and they appreciated not only my voice, but my opinion and the way I deliver my opinion. And so they have given me complete autonomy over my product. And they are really just there to promote my product, and they make some money on me, and I make some money on them, and we make some money doing this commentary thing and shake up some things. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong. Some people try to let me start here. Some people try to make you feel as though what you're working on for the revolution, or whatever version of the revolution you're working on, they want you to think that you aren't supposed to live of it. The best example I can use to help you understand that psychosis, it's not even psychosis, let me correct it. It's a method of control. People try to control you because what they want is for you to be so consumed with working your 9 to 5 that you have zero ability to contribute to the revolution, to the movement, to politics. They want to be the only people who are free to give commentary and make opinions, right? But they want to criticize you particularly if you're socialist leaning like me. They want to criticize you for making a living off of your talent. And especially if your talent is political commentary or writing or journalism. And you know what I say to that? I say, kiss my ass. Seriously, I'm so serious about that. So I have no problem saying that, I'm making a living doing this now, finally, right? You know what? When you first found the Benjamin Dixon Show, you know what my days looked like? My days, I swear to God, and people who were there with me, they remember it because they experienced it with me. My wife certainly remembers it. My days started at 6 o'clock in the morning. I would get my kids to daycare at 7:15. I would get on the train with my wife on the 752 Stoughton line going into Boston, and get to Boston at about 7:52, about 8:45. I catch 3 trains. I catch 3 subways. 3 subways to take me out to Leechmere in Boston, Cambridge, and walk down to HubSpot, where I used to work full time. And I work out there for 8 hours. Then I get back on the subway, go back to the commuter rail, meet my wife on the commuter rail, and we get on the commuter rail and we get back to Stoughton at about 5:45. And we jump in the car, we run to the car, and we jump in the car, and we drive to pick up our kids by 5:59. Because if we were late, if we were there 6, then we'd have to pay money to pick up the kids late. And then 6, I go and we feed the kids. We take a minute. We help them with their homework. We sing a little song. We say our prayers, now I lay me down to sleep and all that kind of stuff. And then as soon as the kids were asleep, I cut on all my cameras, cut on all my lights. And by 9 o'clock, it was the Benjamin Dixon show to 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night, I cut it off. Sometimes we go to 11 o'clock, but usually it was 10 o'clock. We cut it off and I go in and I talk with my wife and we try to fall asleep. We probably didn't fall asleep because I was so wired till about midnight. And then we started the day over every single day for 2 years straight. That's how the Benjamin Dixon show started. I was doing 18 hours, 18-hour days, every day. And to be honest with you, that's where my bad habits came from. That's where I used to have to drink my way through, man. Those were some tough days. Bruh, those were some tough days. I used to eat my way through and drink my way through. And now finally, we're getting to a decent place where, I'm home. I still, I'm here at 9 o'clock doing my show with you. But my days, it's still long days. I'm not going to lie. The days are still long. But it's focused on politics. It's focused on political commentary. And so I've exchanged, working for other people and doing marketing and digital marketing for other companies and stuff as a consultant, I exchanged that for working and doing politics full time. So anyway, that's my story. I just wanted to, let you know where I am. What's taking so long, is the move on the new show. It'll be a full hour show and you can consume that. But you're still going to have access to my nightly show, where we do the freestyle political commentary that we do here. All right. So anyway, enough of the intros. Let's talk some politics, man. It's been a wild day. And a couple of stories that I've covered. I want to start first talking about Facebook, and Mark Zuckerberg. So it turns out, according to the Washington Post, that Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, sold about $100,000 worth of ads to, that's a nice round number, to 500 fake social media accounts that were connected to people in Russia. Now, the extent to those connections and how far they actually connected to the Russian government, no idea whatsoever. It could possibly be that they were just users, people in Russia. And what I'm getting ready to say has absolutely nothing to do with the Russia scandal, but I'm just going to give you the context first. So the Russia scandal, blah, 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 fake Russian accounts, all the 500 accounts have been suspended and removed. But before they got suspended and removed, according to the Washington Post, they ran 3,000 ads that were worth about $100,000 each, $100,000 total out of those ads. The only thing I want to say about this is not anything about Donald Trump, not anything about impeachment, not anything about the investigation with Bob Mueller. Not really worried about that. But what is interesting to me is that this dude, Mark Zuckerberg, man, and Facebook, I'm gonna give them some credit. I honestly think that their operations are so big that they do not screen who runs ads. They only screen what you're running ads about. And apparently these ads were anti-Hillary ads, but everybody was running anti-Hillary ads at the time. Everybody from America's conservative media, we probably have some anti-Hillary ads from Zimbabwe for all we know. So it's not so much about the fact that they ran anti-Hillary Clinton ads, and it's not even about the fact that they were from Russia. What I honestly want to talk about is the fact that Mark Zuckerberg, then after the election, Facebook decided that they were going to crack down on fake news. And in the process of them cracking down on fake news, they literally took money out of the mouths of thousands of people across the country because they arbitrarily decided that they were going to blacklist any number of independent media sites, including some that I'm affiliated with. Some of the sites that I work with, thankfully, progressivearmy.com never got blacklisted altogether, but they changed their algorithm, and they changed their algorithms to suppress the amount of traffic that leaves Facebook and goes to individual websites. Now, when they changed that algorithm, we immediately saw a drop in our traffic. And then they changed another algorithm connected to their video platforms very recently, maybe 2 Fridays ago. They changed the algorithm with regards to videos and killed our traffic to our websites. And I talk about this, I think I talked about this more on the morning analyses than I have on the show. But the power of Facebook is problematic. They are a monopoly. And it's hard for us to consider, well, before I go further, let me finish that thought. They are a monopoly. And they are a monopoly that controls so much of our economy. They have the ability to cut the income, the revenue stream for thousands of companies with one switch. 2 weeks ago, when they changed their most recent algorithm, they changed the amount of traffic to our websites by, 10,000 fold. They cut our traffic. I mean, it went from us being, not, when I say us, I mean just websites in general. I can tell you what happened to our site because they literally killed the traffic to our website and took thousands of dollars away from companies. I mean, and actually I'm understating it. They probably took millions of dollars a month away from companies that utilize and optimized based on Facebook's algorithm. And this is the power of a monopoly. They have the ability. They're not only a monopoly over your consumption of social media, they are a monopoly over the business practices of people who use social media. And, during this time where they were like, fake news, and they were putting up warnings. If you share this link might be fake news. I honestly would rather live in a world where dumb people get caught up in fake news than to have a world where people at Facebook can determine whether or not this independent media source is a worthy source compared to the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, mainstream media. I'm serious. I would much rather have a fully democratized and fully liberalized media platform such that a lot of things are going to fall through the crack. You're going to have a lot of stuff like InfoWars out there who get successful. I would rather have a successful InfoWars than to have a world where Mark Zuckerberg and some nerds don't get me wrong, I'm a nerd myself, but screw them. Some nerds over in Silicon Valley can dictate what outlets are good outlets for their people, for users to consume. And that's kind of where we are. So it's a combination of things that I'm addressing tonight. I'm addressing Facebook's hypocrisy because they literally sold. I mean, they admitted, they confessed. This is not a conspiracy. This is them. They said, yeah, we inadvertently sold ads to 300. I believe it was 300. I may have my numbers inverted. No, I'm sorry, 500. 500 fake Russian social media Facebook accounts. And they sold them 3,000 ads worth about $100,000 during the election cycle, which benefited Donald Trump. And because they were anti-Hillary Clinton ads, they confessed it. There's no conspiracy there, right? But in the midst of them doing that, they turn around and instead of critiquing themselves and correcting their own course, they say, oh, we're going to crack down on fake news. And then they label anyone who maybe clickbait, maybe some sites are clickbaity. Okay, I get it. But that doesn't mean that they're fake news or they're telling a lie. That means they are tabloids, right? They're tabloids. And I think, that's the world we've always lived in. They're digital tabloids. They're the things that you see at the shopping counter when you're getting ready to check out that's talking about Elvis's baby, with an alien. And then, they're not even that bad. But we're talking about that aspect of Facebook being so hypocritical and that they made $100,000, which in a larger scheme of things is no big amount of money. All right. But they made $100,000 off of selling fake ads to fake Russian accounts. But then they simultaneously try to crack down on clickbait sites, and label them all as fake news. Now, I'm seeing a warning here. Why the hell do I see a warning here? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know why I'm seeing this warning here, because I've got a full account here, and this thing is really going to make me upset. Hold that thought, folks. All right. We're back. We're back. So turns out I was not recording this podcast in the right account. I'm looking at the meter and I'm like, how the hell do I only have 10 minutes left? I paid too much money for that. But anyway, so Facebook, his hypocrisy, it's out of control, right? It's totally out of control in the sense that they are, condemning other sites into oblivion, killing the traffic to our sites because they're labeling us or labeling them. Our Progressive Army never got the label of fake news. And I have to give a shout out to all of my editors, all of our editors at progressivearmy.com, all of the writers, because one thing we made sure of, and this has hurt our traffic, but we made an editorial stand that we were not going to go with salacious titles. We were not going to go to anything that could be remotely considered clickbait. And our traffic suffers because of that, because clickbait works. It 100% works. So Progressive Army never got that label. But a lot of good sites did. So other sites that I wrote for simultaneously, they did. And we got significantly hurt. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg and his big corporation were not paying attention to the people that they were selling ads to. They were just collecting that money. So the hypocrisy. But then more importantly than their hypocrisy is the fact of how powerful Facebook is and the ability that they have to crush businesses that have formed and developed and optimized their practices to the rules of Facebook. And at any given time, Facebook has the right to change the rules. Here's the problem, folks. The reality of it is Facebook is a monopoly. And we're getting to the point where social media is becoming a utility. A utility like phone books, like phones, not phone books, but telecom, a utility like water, a utility like electricity. It's becoming a vital utility to the infrastructure of so many businesses to the point where they're going to have to be broken up. And I'm sorry, they need to be broken up. They have entirely too much power, too much control. A lot of you watch us on Facebook and you're like, well, Ben, how are you going to dog Facebook? Well, hell, I stream on YouTube and Twitter too, so, but in terms of having a monopoly over, that space, Facebook has a monopoly over the revenues of thousands of businesses, probably in the hundreds of thousands of businesses. I guarantee you with their last update 2 weeks ago, they took millions of dollars a month out of the revenue streams of companies across the country. And I can tell you what they did to us. I don't even want to give you the numbers because I know for a fact that where we had just optimized our business to operate on Facebook based on the rules that they had. And once we optimized it, we tested it out and we were generating so much traffic to our site that it was crashing. We had to rebuild our site. And by the time we got done rebuilding our site, these people, guess what? Changed the rules of the game. And now, it's good that we rebuilt our site fine. And on faster servers, our site is progressivearmy.com is a whole lot faster now. Great, but they've changed the rules of the game. I said all that to say this. Facebook is entirely too powerful. They have too much control over the U.S. economy in that they are able to stranglehold businesses that operate in their space. They have designed it to be self-contained. Facebook is trying to become the internet so that when people log on, they don't log on and go to Google. They don't log on. Hell, Google needs to be broken up if you think about it, right? We're just talking about, hell, look at what Google did on YouTube. There are too many, and I get it, there are going to be winners and losers, but yeah, there's the opposite side of the curve where you're on the left hand side of the curve, you're in ascent, you're ascending, and what you're doing is still beneficial to the people who are consuming and using your product. But then there's a level of growth that goes beyond where now what you're doing and the decisions that you make in order to maintain your monopoly becomes detrimental to both the users and individual users and business users and people who are utilizing your services for business. And it gives you too much control over them such that, congratulations, you're a winner, but now you have a responsibility. And your responsibility, guess what? Is to the people. Your responsibility is to all of the people that have created their businesses based on your algorithm, based on your company, based on your service, or based on the concept of your service, right? It's not based on solely on Facebook being Facebook. It's based on collective communities on the internet that we can organize and distribute to. That's what social media really is. And so, consider this. Can you imagine having an electric company who at a drop of a dime can change the amount of electricity that comes to your building? Right? And at the drop of the dime can inflate their prices to the point where, you as a business can't operate. Or at the drop of the dime, they could say, well, at between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m., you cannot get any power. Just randomly changing the rules of the game. No, we would not tolerate that. And I believe social media is becoming too much of a utility, particularly for businesses. And I get it. For people and individuals, it's like, I don't like people here. I just log off. But when companies build their entire platform off of you, think about this. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it's businesses, capitalism is bad and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I get it. I got you. Hey, viva la revolution, right? I'm with you. But guess what? Think of it like this. If you let's take business out of it. Take your organization that you're organizing for the revolution. Take your ability. Take this group, this page that you have developed and you've curated and you've given content to and you've groomed for the last 10 years on Facebook, and you've got your user and your follower count up to 100,000. Maybe you've got it even up to 1 million people or 200,000 people, or whatever number you've gotten it to. And you've slowly but surely built it up and nurtured them. And all of a sudden Facebook says, oh, well, when you press publish, you're not going to publish to all 200,000 people. You're going to publish to a handful. And if you really want to get your message out to all those people, you got to buy an ad. That's exactly what Facebook has done. And here you have, as a person in the revolution, as an organizer, you've organized a group of revolutionaries, 200,000 of them, that you can get out and mobilize. And Facebook has choked your ability to communicate to them without paying an ad, without paying your Facebook to run your ad. So these are all the reasons, man. I believe we should advocate for Facebook to be regulated, to be broken up. It's a monopoly and it has too much control over every aspect of our lives. And then the last, I've been two categories, two things that I've talked about. Here's the third thing. The first thing was Facebook's hypocrisy and calling everybody fake news. Meanwhile, they're selling ads to fake Russian social media accounts. But the second thing is Facebook's monopolistic behavior. But now finally, Mark Zuckerberg thinks he wants to run for president. I'm sorry. Can I tell you something? I might get fired from my new job. I might make enemies of all of you. But when I tell you, if Mark Zuckerberg gets the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States, I'm voting for Donald Trump. I'm sorry. At least, if the world survives between now and 2020, and Donald Trump hasn't blown shit up, I would rather the devil that we have in office than a new devil who has the lure and the seductive appeal of being a millennial, of being, I guess that's the only title I can give him, because everything else is like whack, right? So he's this millennial. He's from Silicon Valley. He's I can't think of the word, not the yuppie. Yeah, I guess yuppie. He's a yuppie. He's a billionaire, all these things, and people are fawning over him. Oh yes, give us Mark Zuckerberg over Donald Trump. I'm sorry. First of all, give me one billionaire in my lifetime as a president of the United States. Please, can we not have a competition between multimillionaires and billionaires for the, can we get some common people to at least be in the conversation? And by common, can we get somebody who has $100,000 in the bank versus $100 million versus $1 billion? That's number one. But the number two, can we not get someone who does not have a fetish for all of our data points? a fetish to understand everything. Do you know how much information Facebook gives us all these games. They give us all of these toys. They give us all of this. I don't have to tell you. I'm preaching to the choir. But you know what Facebook is doing with us. They're making us one. They're commodifying us. They're commodifying each and every one of us and selling our information to businesses, to marketers, so that they can advertise to us. They're getting more and more granular information on you. Who are you? What do you like? Not only what do you like, because that's easy. What do you like at 9 o'clock in the morning? What do you like at 9 o'clock in the morning when you make a post about how angry you are? What's the right ad to show you? That's how granular they're getting. What do you like in the afternoon after you make a post about coffee, needing coffee? That's how granular of detail that they're getting on you, and they're selling. Like they read. Of course, they read everything. They read where your mouse goes. They know what you like. They know what you don't like. They know when you change your reaction from a smiley face to a laughing face, right? From a thumbs up to a smile. They compile all of that. Facebook is not about giving you a better experience. They're about giving you a better experience that they can digitize and that they can create data points around so that they can sell you to marketers. And I'm sorry, I don't think you need to mix the person in the world who knows the most about us, about every single person in the goddamn world, with the most powerful office in the world. That is 1984. And what's going to stop him from bringing his behavior patterns? What tells us that Mark Zuckerberg is going to have a different approach in the White House than what he had in Facebook? I mean, we are literally being stalked on Facebook. It's Google too, right? Eric Schmidt, if you bring people over if somebody from Google try to run for the White House, I would give you the same exact speech. These people need to stay in their lane. The worst thing in the world that we could do is to have the final step, like the final form, like Super Saiyan 4 of corporatocracy, where you have a person in the White House who is the master of corporations and the master of getting every single one of our details. That's the last thing that we need. I mean, can we not? So again, I'm sorry. I would not become a Republican by any sense of the word. I would most certainly, though, advocate for us to reelect Donald Trump rather than to see someone like Mark Zuckerberg, because it is freakishly terrifying how much information he has on every single human being almost on the planet. If you've got a phone and you've got a Facebook account, how many billion people do they have as users now? Right. And it's not even just about who are users. It's about you as a user and where you go after. They know where you go when you leave the site. So I'm sorry. As much as I hate Donald Trump, as much as, we got 4 years, we got 3.5 more years of him, right? So we got 3.5 more years of Donald Trump. If we survive and the world doesn't come to an end, I'm sorry. I can't see us electing a Mark Zuckerberg. Someone who has a deep-seated fetish to understand every data point possible about you. It's not even cool. He doesn't. Oh, that's it. I'm going to be honest with you. Everything that I just described that I thought was draconian and Orwellian probably is laughable to him, because he's like, oh, you think that's what I know about you? I also know, he probably knows when you pass gas, for that matter. I'm just saying, think about everything that we do around our phones, on Facebook. They have access to all of that in the background. They know who you are on every level. They know every DM that you ever wrote on Facebook. They've calculated it. They've run algorithms through it. They know it. They know your language pattern. They know what your face looks like. They know when you're happy. They know when you're sad. They know what products you're excited about. They know what products you clicked on and didn't buy. They know what's in your shopping carts at different outlets. Facebook knows everything about you. And you want that person to be the president of the United States of America? Or rather, let me rephrase that. That person thinks he's going to be the president of the United States of America? Get the hell out of here. No, I will personally put on a Make America Great Again t-shirt and go out there and stump the yard to make sure that Mark Zuckerberg never becomes president. I personally would resurrect, if Hillary Clinton is alive, I would go find her, track her down, and run her for president. I will put on, I'm stronger with her at 92 years old, however old Hillary Clinton would be. I would go out there and stomp the ground for Hillary Clinton to make sure that she beats Mark Zuckerberg, because I'm sorry, we do not need the final form of corporatocracy. I know you're like, Ben, it's not that serious. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the cognac. I don't know. But no, I do know it's serious, because I've seen what they've done. I've seen what they've done to independent media. I've seen the money that they've taken out of our hands and our ability to create bigger platforms and amplify our voices, your voices together. They've stranglehold our voices. I've seen what they've done. I've seen what they've done in terms of the establishment versus independent media. New York Times, cool. New Century Times, hell no. Blacklist those motherfuckers. Because I've seen their behavior pattern, and with zero remorse, I've seen them take millions of dollars a month away from companies who are independent companies who are just trying to hustle in this world. Listen, capitalism is the devil. Yeah, I got it. I could break it down to you on many levels of why that's true and why nothing that we do in the realm of capitalism is ever going to be just. But you know what? When people are out here hustling and doing everything they can, dude, like if you talk about somebody, you want to know the people who are going from rags to riches, the people who are able to make 2 dimes out of make $1 out of 2 dimes. Those people, they're people who are mastering social media. And you know what Facebook has done? Strangled all of them. Just choked it off. Just strangled them. Not strangled, just straight up strangled them. With not even a second thought, without even a method of dissenting, right? No method of what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word when you appeal to your government? There's a particular word, and it escapes me because it's so late at night. But you have no recourse. When Facebook changes their mind, it doesn't matter how many people they hurt. Hell, the last thing that they did that hurt my company so bad, it hurt Amazon too. They don't care how big or how small you are, because they're Facebook and they run the world. And I don't care. I'm going to publish my shit I'm going to publish this exact podcast on Facebook's platform, and I don't give a damn. I don't give a good goddamn. You know why? Because they're going to do it anyway. They're already limiting the reach of our voices anyway. So why would we be quiet in hopes of them treating us fairly when they're not treating us fairly in the first place? I'm going to be honest with you. Like this is one of the more, this is by far not the most important political story, but this is one of the most important political stories, because Facebook is now where every single one of us organize. Twitter is cool. Twitter is very important. I kind of like the wild west of Twitter. They're starting to change for the worse, I think. But, it's cool and it does what it does, but it does not have the reach or the viralness of Facebook. And so you think about every one of you. I think every person that I'm talking to, you are in a group. You are in a group. You should know that sometimes you just don't even see messages from your group. You know why? Because Facebook wants your administrator to pay money to them in order to get the message out to the group that they've created, that they've curated, and in many cases that they've spent money on grooming and creating. And then, no, that's not good enough. You got to pay us money again. Facebook is evil. I'm sorry. That's it. I probably had 100 other things that I could talk about tonight. But Facebook really, Mark Zuckerberg wanting to become president, I think is by far one of the worst things that could happen to the world. Oh, Ben, but he's such a good guy. Really? He started Facebook because he started it based on trolling women. You do know that story, right? He actually stole Facebook from the Winklevoss twins. That's a true story for sure. The lawsuit actually happened. But you know what happens? Let me shift gears a little bit. You know what happens? Someone becomes uber successful. They become a billionaire. They hire PR people. And people start to forget the grimy shit that they did to become who they are. Yeah, that's what happens. All right. What time is it? Oh, it's still decent. Do I have anything? I mean, I know I for sure have other things that I want to talk to you about. But I think I'm going to stop here because what I have to do is I have to download these two separate clips. I have to merge them together and then upload it so that you can get it. All because, just because. Just because. All right, folks, that's all I have for today. To all of our patrons, I'm going to do my very best to get a video up for you tomorrow, a morning analysis up for you tomorrow. And we are going to be back. I'm not going to make any more promises because I have not been able to keep my last two promises of deadlines. All I will say is that we are going to be back with full video. I'm not going to put a date on it. I'm just going to say we're going to be back with full video for the Benjamin Dixon Show. In the meantime, go over to content.news. You can check it out on YouTube. You can check it out on Facebook. You can check it out on Twitter. Check out my clips, my video clips. We do short clips, and we're getting ready to do a full hour-long show called Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon. And I will see you next time.